Hi everyone. Hope everyone's having a good week. My name is Jason Catmull. I just wanted to give a quick presentation on the Go programming language. This was the language that I chose to use for my senior project, along with some machine learning. But machine learning has already been talked about, so I thought I might mention some things about Go and especially some of the benefits of using this language. So Go, or golang as it's sometimes called, if you ever look it up on the internet, it was created by Google in 2009. It was created by a few engineers that work there, and they had some gripes about C and C++, and they wanted to kind of overcome some of those criticisms of some of that language and some of the other languages and some of the complexities that make them hard to use. So they decided to start writing Go, which is still similar to C, but hopefully, and their intention was to make it easier and more functional. So it's a statically typed language, which means the types are compiled at runtime, and all the Go source code, it's part of packages. You can consider these files, and just like we have our main file, we call it the main package, and that's what you declare at the top of your file there. You can import libraries and other packages, just like that import function is doing there with the format library. So the syntax for Go is actually one of its major strengths, and it doesn't take a lot of memory to it doesn't take a lot to keep this in memory, basically, and it's really clean, easy code to write. There's no need for semicolons. The new line just designates this, and then the functions can also return multiple values, which can be very helpful as well. There's some special operators in Go, one of them being the colon equals, which basically helps us to infer types. So in C++, we'd always specify the type at the beginning, int, then the name equals whatever value. With Go, you just simply put in the name for your variable, and then colons equals, and fill in the value, and it'll infer the type. So that's pretty handy. Go also uses something called slices, which are basically easy ways of managing arrays. You can dynamically size them. It provides you a flexible view into the elements of an array, and you do this. If you look over in that image to the right, you can see that that primes array. They have a low and a high bound of 1 and 4, and that way they can kind of specify the range that they're looking at within that array, and they call that a slice. So there are some major pros to Go. So there are some, the remote package management system is pretty easy. If you need to, you can just use the go get command within your terminal or whatever you're going to be using to import those packages. Then there's also an interface system, which is similar to virtual inheritance that you see with C++ and that, but it's also fairly simple to write. As you can see here, we have a couple different structs, which are what they use in Go. There's no classes, but you use structs, and then also you can kind of create linked methods to those structs. So it's similar, but still easy to use. And it also has a great standard library for I/O, manipulating raw bytes, and also for JSON serialization and deserialization using Marshall and unmarshal commands. And then also, this is probably one of the major touted features of Go, is the garbage collection. So it's intentionally made easier for management of dynamic objects. So no need to worry about allocation of memory with this. It does a pretty good job of cleaning everything up. So there are a few cons. One of them is there's no generics, so that means you can't write functions to be reused with different types. So it causes a lot of code duplication. There's a lack of language extensibility, so no overloaded operators with this language. And also, because of that garbage management system or memory management system, there's also a lot of overhead, which can result, in comparison to manual management in C++. Okay, this next slide will give a quick demonstration of using a program developed in Go, and it's using concurrency as its main example here. It's pretty simple, but yeah, we'll go get right into it. Okay, so this is just a simple example of a main, or sorry, a Go program, and this one is implementing concurrency. So we first start off, it's just one file, just our package main. We're going to import a couple libraries, format and time, and then also we have a couple functions here. The first one, read input, is just what it's describing. It's just getting input from a user. And the second one is a timeout function that's basically going to time out after a certain amount of time. And then our main function down here, what we're doing here is we're using this make command to create some channels. And channels are just basically, it's like a conduit or a way to pass information in and out. And so we're going to have a couple different channels here, one of type bool and one of type string. One is the timeout and one is the read input. And then this select block here is going to take our two Go routines, and we start a Go routine by the command go here. And those are basically going to be our asynchronous functions that are going to happen in order of time, in order of which one's executed first. So to demonstrate this, we basically are going to either print out the received word from the user input, or we're going to print timeout depending on whether the user inputs something before the timer expires. And so let me demonstrate that really quickly here. And functions are just run with the go run and then file name, or main, in this case main.go, and you just hit enter. And I'm going to go ahead and enter Apple. And because that was the first function to complete, that's the one that was executed before the program quit. And then I'll go ahead and run that again. And if I let the timer run out, then it should print timeout before I can type anything in. So yeah, it's just a simple way to show the concurrency and how simple it is to implement in the Go programming language. Okay, well, hopefully this provided you with some useful information and maybe explained a few of the new things associated with the Go programming language. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And appreciate it. Thank you.